My name's Diane Davis. I'm telling my story today at the Community Quilt Day in Sylva, North Carolina, on Saturday, March 25th, 2023. The story of this quilt starts way back in the 60s. I was a college girl, and my parents came up to North Carolina to drive the Parkway and to see what fall is like. And the Parkway Rangers had an organization called Parkway Wives, and the wives drew these pictures of wildflowers that appear in the Smoky Mountains and created this pattern of 22 or 3 blocks that you could purchase in their gift shops. So my mother fell in love with this quilt and bought the patterns and went straight home to New Orleans and buried them in her sewing room closet. So when we came to North Carolina in about 92, started building a cabin, my mother came to visit, and she saw that I was trekking the woods every day, taking pictures of wildflowers and learning the names of them with my guidebooks and poring over the guidebooks. And she said, "Diane, we're making the quilt." And that's pretty much how my mother operated anyway. So because it was such a huge project, I said, we can't do this all ourselves. So we recruited my daughter and my niece, who happened to be the best embroiderer of all of us. She starred in this quilt. And yet another friend who loved to do embroidery. So I started putting together kits with the patterns and the background fabric, which all had to be matching, and tracing patterns and threads, many of which were silken threads from a beautiful shop in Dillsboro that's no longer there, an embroidery thread shop. So we sent out these kits and said, get to work. And about 2.5 years later, I started getting blocks back and trying to decide what to do with them because they were so well done and so beautiful. So my niece had this brilliant idea to put some beadwork in there. Well, we all fell in love with that beadwork, so we had to get our blocks back and add a little embellishment like pearls for the gentian somewhere. And also there was one important flower missing. It was the North Carolina state flower, which is red columbine. So I had to pull up my drawing skills, and I created this block. It wouldn't be complete without red columbine. So all of this I identified on our 10 acres on the outside of Waynesville, on the Sylva side of Waynesville. And I learned all about wildflowers that summer and still have my albums of photographs that I love to go through. And it reminds me of all the love that is in my family. So that's my story.